number 1 had some kind of glitch in it, so I moved everything up 1 space. So this is now 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Your father did, to his great misfortune.
Long time, you could see this. Galway the stern's a sinking ship.
And what? You're the lifeboat?
I'm the fucking Coast Guard.
Why could not the Lord speak to us today? Has he forgotten us? Has he lost his voice? Jesus Christ.
You must be Jack Russell.
Test? You mean this isn't the first time someone's gone nuts like this?
Ha! Very astute, young man. Yes, this appears to be another case of the plague.
That crest! Are you the Devil Forge Master? Then this is the hour of your death. That I am, though I did not fight alone. There were many brave warriors beside me. And your name, sir.
My devotion and commitment have taken me to the top. You have become very strong, my lord. You are a true warrior of the 3 kingdoms. My lord, your skills have improved greatly. I am speechless.
There's one mistake in your analysis. He uses the same style I do because I taught it to him. So that's why none of my enemies has ever survived this attack.
Who dares disturb my beauty? Have you not heard? This movie is already over! Victorious! Nothing to do with the riff-raff like you. The only thing left for you to do is perish! Who am I, you ask? Why? I don't see any point in me answering such a question.
What?
Arrancar, espadas. How fantastic! Hueco Mundo is a treasure trove of riches.
So, Quincy, is this someone you know?
Know this man? Hardly.
And what if I say no? I made a promise, Marcus. No matter what, I'll always be by Christie's side. So, let's do this! Don't worry about me, Christie. I haven't forgotten my promise to you.
Terrence Stone, voice demo.
This is no longer just a game for humans. This is an entertainment revolution, as it were. Bleach Wii has exceeded the acceptable range of amusement.
Slaves, hear your master. I am the god of gods.
Wow! Your magic is humongously powerful, Your Highness. What? It's raining fruit!
The master calls, the master wants. Flesh and sinew, weak but proud. Dare they part the master's shroud? Blood for the master! Blood for the master! Come, madness. Come, havoc. Come, infinite night!
Lord Liu Bei, I shall do what I can to help you.
Almost complete now. My conclusions will be able to quantify the probabilities for success. It's always worked for me before.
I am Groot.
Kneel before me, I said. Kneel! Is this not simpler? It's the unspoken truth of humanity that you crave subjugation. In the end, you will always kneel.
Sorry to interrupt your listening, but I've got to go change my poopy panties. They're so uncomfortable. Stop laughing.
We're glad your fallen kin have been avenged.
That giant was a threat to all. It's only right that we stood together to destroy him. Together we may be able to best him. Every hour that he lives, his following grows greater and stronger. Let us press on.
You can have your fun for now, Yuri Boyka. But just remember, this is my ring. Everything you say is just a horseshit.
Gracias, señores.
No, gracias. De
Excelente.
nada.
De nada.
Muchas gracias.
Bueno, yo quisiera iniciar. Primero, bienvenido, Terrence, gracias por estar acá. Y bueno, esa pregunta siempre se la quería hacer y es, ¿cuál fue esa decisión de querer actuar, esa experiencia que le dejó poder representar, bueno, dos temáticas importantes, una que es Chaplin y la otra que es Win 19, pero bueno, sabemos que Win 19 es una serie de TV y Chaplin es una movie, pero me parece impresionante.
Okay, let's start with your acting career in the background of TV and films. Yes, what was the experience or the decision that make you wanna act and going back in your days in Chaplin and now in your days in Winning Time? By the way, I just finished that series. That series got a lot of people that had been on this channel. I really, really love it. In fact, I feel I think that this series needed more recognition for the Emmys, but it's okay. So, man, what was the decision that make you wanna go in jump and acting? And oh no, you can tell us something about those years in television and movies. Go ahead.
Well, as far as acting with something other than my voice in front of a camera, I started doing commercials first and had a lot of fun doing that. Then I did a lot of theater and actual improv plays and stuff. And so I enjoyed being in front of an audience, but I learned to be comfortable in front of a camera. The first thing that I did was a miniseries called North and South. It's a Civil War series, a big TV series, long time ago. And I played, Johnny Cash played one of the characters in it, and I played his son. And so for the whole week that we were shooting it, I was on the set with Patrick Swayze and Kirstie Alley, and then mostly with Johnny Cash and Jeannie Francis and a lot of people like that. And the week was really wonderful. It was a great shoot, had a great time. And that pretty much hooked me in from then on. I had been doing some stunt work also, with a few lines here and there. But then once I actually started getting decent parts, I decided, yeah, this is what I want to do. So I just kept following it up, and you audition, you try to get the parts, you get a few, and then that leads to other things and other things. And so that's where I am now. The latest thing that I've done on camera has been for the HBO series Worth Winning, the history of the Lakers dynasty. I had a part in the first episode of that. That was fun. And then Colin in Black and White, which was the miniseries about Colin Kaepernick. I played the Cal University college football coach. So I had a role in that too, in the pilot episode, the first episode. So that was fun. I'm still doing it, still getting in front of the camera every now and then.
Lo más importante es que, bueno, al hablar sobre cine, televisión, hay temáticas importantes que son del anime, videojuegos, pero yo quiero preguntarles sobre sus trabajos más representativos, o sea, primero la experiencia en lo que es en el anime, tú, André, me complementarás, pero, hombre, ¿cómo es la experiencia, tanto qué le ha dejado el universo de Bleach? Y bueno, que nos cuenta más experiencia, Andrés. Continúa.
Okay, I was talking with Jhon before because we can have a lot of seasons talking to you for one of your words in anime. In fact, we do a list of the words that we love and we complement it. But we will try to zoom it in your work on Bleach. In fact, it's crazy because you worked not only in the series and the translation of the series, but in the video game. In fact, I did a little list of video games, and which I loved. Man, if you can tell us, in fact, I will read the list of animes. Jhon really loved your work in Grenadier and Madame Cantabile. I loved your work in Gestalt, Ghost in the Shell 2, Bad Labor, Rurouni Kenshin, and Origamiden. In fact, Origamiden is one of my, it's like a hidden gem, like Gestalt, and talking to you with that word is amazing. So if you can tell us, yes, something about how is it working in the anime industry. Later we will talk about video games, don't worry. Go ahead, man. And if you want to talk about one role in specific or some role in specific, go ahead.
Anime, I first started in the early 90s with, we did Pokemon, the pilot, and then they took it to New York and we didn't work on it anymore. But then we worked on Digimon. There were about 20 of us that, when anime was really first coming out in the United States in the late 80s and mid 80s and the 90s. And so did a lot of Digimon. From there, I ended up, just to name a few, I did Raori Kenshin, where I play Aoshi, who's kind of one of the main, he's a good guy, bad guy. And I was also in Samurai X, in a anime called Viewtiful Joe. I was Edward III, the lizard type evil creature that has all the little Bianchis and everything, and I had to do all the different Bianchi voices. Of course, my most famous one is Bleach. That's the one that I'm known around the world most for my Yuriko Kuretsuchi. And of course, now, you know, they're coming out with some more Bleach in Japanese. So maybe within the year, we'll be working on doing some more English dubbing on that. Oh my gosh, what else? Anime. I was a translator, script writer for a lot of the scripts in a show called Magic Knight's Ray Earth. That was early on. And I was Ferio, who was the lead good guy. And then I was also Unova, who is like the co-second bad guy. And in one episode, my bad guy captures my good guy and tortures him for most of the episode. So I'm talking to myself a lot. So oh my gosh, other anime. I mean, I've guest voiced in most other animes. I'm trying to think of anything else that has really been that big that I've done, but Bleach really is the one that I've done the biggest role on. I don't know, you probably have ones you want to ask about or something, or you have in mind that, without looking at my resume, I don't know. I've done so many now. I can't remember them all.
No, man, and it's crazy because, like I would say, we do the list of our favorites. And I will repeat it all the night because for us, is really great. Jhon really loved your work in Grenadier and Nodame Cantabile. Myself, I love your work in Gestalt, Ghost in the Shell 2, Bad Neighbor, Rurouni Kenshin, of course, and Onigamiden. But, oh man, about Magic Knight Ranger, I will tell you something crazy. In Latin America, it's called Las Guerreras Mágicas. And it's great. And I don't know, Rurouni Kenshin, yes, Samurai X, no, that doesn't change. But it's crazy, man, because I remember having a girlfriend back in those days. An otaku girlfriend. I bought all the mangas, man, and it's crazy. No, we can go on, but in fact, hooking up with the question about Bleach, this list is longer, man. I'm a junkie from video games, and I got a list. In fact, you remember me, all my years in the college playing. I play all these games, man. Samurai Warriors Katana, Warriors Orochi, of course, Bleach, Shattered Blade. I freaking love that video game. In fact, I got some muscles playing with the sword. Castlevania Curse of Darkness, Final Fantasy Tears of Cerberus. Kessen III. Yes, man. I brought my friend Cloud. And Viewtiful Joe, man. I got two questions. If you wanna talk about your one video games, go ahead, but it's amazing because, and maybe you had worried more, you are the casting director from Octopath Traveler, man. That was one of the greatest video games. And now in your RPGs, tell us about, for me as a game junkie, your experience working on video games, man. And thank you for made me remember that's beautiful just playing it, man. PlayStation 2 and Wii.
Yeah. Well, when we first started video games, there really was just when PlayStation and Xbox were coming out. When we first, yes, I'm old. when we first started, it was all just PC, but so you would do one version. And then once PS and Xbox came in, then you would go into the studio and you do the PC version. And then you do another slightly different version that was PS. And then a slightly different version that was Xbox, because whatever system you had some little something that the others didn't get. So it was always kind of fun. But that also meant that we started doing twice and 3 times the work, which is great. We like that because then they pay more money and hey, you do more lines. Now, over the years, oh my gosh, it's like small movies when you do the cut scenes in between and the little movies in between. And so when you do a video game, a lot of times what you're doing, you're creating the voice and then they animate around that, but not always. There's a new release coming out, Dynasty Legends, and I'm in that. But I was in the Dynasty Warriors from the very beginning as Zhao, and then a couple of years ago, a different company took it over and started doing them, and didn't think that some of us would come back to do some of the roles, and they recast them, and that didn't go over so well. But now they've brought us back doing other roles, which is actually more fun for me. So that's going to be released, I think, pretty soon. And then there's a couple of them that I've directed for Tencent and some other stuff that aren't out yet. Because I also direct. I mean, I do voice acting, but I do voice directing too. The first computer game I think that I directed all the voice on was it was for the sketch. No, what do they call it?
It wasn't. It was Hearthstone.
No. This
but
was
that is one of your most famous roles because that game blew up, man. That was amazing.
Yeah. I started with World of Warcraft with about 20 of us. It started back in 2002, 2003, and Octopath Traveler. That's the one that's the first one that I directed. Yeah, and that went over very well. And then I guest directed, or I've completely directed a lot of stuff in between. And then I also direct like animated series for DreamWorks and Netflix and Disney and stuff like that. But Octopath Traveler was the first one I directed completely all the way through. I've done a lot of animated movies and stuff. But as far as computer games, I guess, yeah, that's the biggest. As far as doing computer games, I mean, it's not with anime a lot. We're dubbing into English half the time from the Japanese or some other language. So it's the dubbing skills, putting every flap in there and covering everything that happens. So with a lot of the computer games now, you're going in and you're doing original voice work where they animate around what you record. You're reading your script and everything, you know. And so that's fun. We don't very often get to have where there's 3 or 4 people in the same room that we're talking opposite of. Usually we go in and we're reading our script and we're reading what everyone else says, and we're in there by ourselves, you know, in front of a microphone. But computer games are great. I love them. As a matter of fact, I just did some new content for Warcraft Hearthstone. Just did some more of that just last week. So there'll be more stuff coming out soon. But Hearthstone, the Innkeeper, and Sir Finley are the main 2 characters. I've done about 40 voices in Hearthstone, just like in World of Warcraft. I've done, I think, about 60 different characters over the years now. But my 2 that are best known for Hearthstone are, of course, the Innkeeper, Hearthstone Brew, and Sir Finley, you know. So there's more of that coming out too. Did I answer your question?
But I was dying inside because I freaking love the Dynasty Warriors saga, man, and knowing that it will keep coming. In fact, I will translate that. I will translate everything to Jhon, but I will translate first that part. Jhon, es que acaba de decirnos que se viene, él hace 14 voces en Hearthstone, se viene un nuevo trabajo de Hearthstone fusionado con Warcraft, y John, esto se viene más de Dynasty Warriors vuelve y vuelven a llamar a todo el casting, o sea que él vuelve con lo de Dynasty Warriors. Pregunta de lo que quieras.
Por favor. O sea, yo estoy sin palabras. Yo quiero es primero agradecerle por tan bonita infancia que tuve gracias a lo que es Artelan y Men, la serie de Eureka Seven, la película. Yo solo quiero saber cómo fue el poder ser Walla en Artelan Men, porque es una maravilla.
Okay, now that we got time, because like we said, I was thinking with John asking about in general, because we can talk about your words, but now that John, that we got a little more time, man, John is thanking, I was thanking you for my childhood and for my youth. John is thanking for his childhood because we were reading and we find out that you appear in Eureka 7 and are the lad. Man, like I say, we can talk about characters, but let's make happy John. How was your work in experience in this series? And by the way, you also appear on VR Troopers, no? One of the series that we mostly love in our childhood. And it's crazy because I was reading that you also did the translation from one character in Asumi. Oh, go ahead, man. Make us happy. For us, we are blessed. But go ahead.
I've been lucky enough that I have done so many different versions of the entertainment business and everything. So sometimes translating, doing the translation from the other language into English and doing all the timing and everything. Directing, co-directing, being a voiceover artist, being a camera person. I mean, like doing voices for TV shows and things like that is wonderful. Like for Scooby-Doo Monsters Unleashed, Scooby-Doo 2. I do the 10,000 volt monster. I do one of the pterodactyls. I do like 3 or 4 voices in that, and that's for a movie. Or the Dune 2 series that they did, not the new one, but the one in between the movie and it was about 10, 15 years ago. And I created a character where I had to do motion capture, and then I created the voice of Edric, who is he's in an atmosphere dome, and he works opposite Susan Sarandon. And I'm an ambassador, a space ambassador for Arrakis, and I end up getting killed at the end of the first half of the movie because they got to take me out. Then zombies, monsters, all that kind of stuff. I mean, I love doing accents and characters and warriors and creatures, and I love harmonizing my voice. You know, I love doing that, which I use some of for my Yuri, but I've used it a lot. I use it for Edward III and Viewtiful Joe. I've used it for a lot of computer games. One thing you have to understand too, there are some times that you work on a project and you don't take a credit. You don't have your name associated with it. And then for a long time in computer games and things, they didn't put credits in of who the voice actors were. So you never really knew. So if you look at my IMDb Pro, that has about 2/3 of the work that I've actually done of any kind, you know, movies, stunt work, directing, whatever. But the idea is to just do the work and be part of a project. Sometimes you're working for one studio and another studio wants to hire you to do something else. And so you know that the studio you work with first is probably going to be a little upset. So you just don't take a credit. You don't have your name associated with the other job. Or like we used to do in the 80s, you just make up a name. And that's what gets put in the credit if that's the way it has to happen. But now, you know, I'm in a situation where I can do pretty much any kind of project. And so that's very freeing because you get to work with more people. You get to know more of the other voiceover stars and actors and things. In the old days, back in the 90s, let's say, early 2000s, when we would go to auditions, it was fun for us because you get there early, some are still there, and you get to see 5 or 6 other people around, you know, and like you get to know other voice people. And we used to get together more for like social things or rap parties or things on projects or things like that. And don't do that nearly as much now. And of course, once the pandemic hit, oh boy, we didn't do any of that stuff. And you couldn't do anything with anyone. There are some times on Hearthstone and other games too, but especially Hearthstone, where we've done musical, little 2 or 3 minute or 5 minute little cut pieces, you know, little films and stuff. And maybe there'll be 16 of us or 18 of us in a recording studio. And there's like 5 of us or 4 of us at 3 or 4 mics, but we can see each other and we can hear each other and we're all there at the same time. And we're really singing, we're really interacting with each other. And that's a lot of fun. Sometimes you do a series and you actually are at the microphone and the other actors that you're working with are at microphones next to you or close to you. And so you can actually see them and you can actually talk with them and it's fresh. And that's when it's the most fun. But usually you're in there by yourself. And so you're just creating what you think you can create. Computer games are pretty much the same thing. You have a script, of course, it's there. And if you're doing a character you've created or you've done several times, like Dynasty Warriors into Dynasty Legends, I don't know how many versions of that I did. And so you've created the character. Every time I go in now for the Innkeeper or Sir Finley or some character I've done for so long that I also created, then of course, you know that character. You don't need to have to go, now, what did I do? How did I sound? You know him and you just go, you know, you're very comfortable with him. A lot of times when you go and you do one main voice, they have 2 or 3 little small characters and they show you a picture and you get to see the picture of the character the way the artist has drawn it. And so they go, well, we don't have a voice for this character. What do you think looking at him? So you think about it and you try something and they go, well, what if it was higher? And you go higher or whatever. So you create the character's voice right there. And so that's a lot of fun when it's just like improv almost. Okay, here we go. Here's a new character. Take a look at him. What do you think? And then those are fun. And if he comes back again, then they have a voice reference they just pull up from what you did, you know. But you go to conventions and you better remember how to do the voices. And if the fans ask you, why did you kill so-and-so in episode so-and-so? Well, you better have at least an idea. Or they go, hey, that's my favorite character. Hey, how come you don't know anything about it? You can't just go, I was reading a script. I don't know. I don't remember. I've done 500 characters since then. I don't know. They don't want to hear that. So you got to do your research.
Well, I can imagine the fans of Octopath Traveler, man. That screen is huge. I mean, that game is. I mean, you are the casting director, but that screen is enormous. And in fact, no, that video game is considered one of the revivals from the old JRPGs. Oh no, man. I will be one of the fans that will be asking you, why you kill Jhon? ¿Algo más? As a final, before the final salutes, defining one word, your word as the characters Alexander Senkin and Ekus in one word. Or you can define your whole career in one word, man. I will be happy.
Yes.
I was like, wow.
So define my career in 1 or 2 words. 1 word. Fun. It's always been fun. And if it's not fun, then, you know, why keep doing it? It's fun because, you know, the fans are going to enjoy what you did, or at least once you hear that the fans like what you did, then you know they're going to do it. And when everything you do, you try to make your character have its own special life, which is fun to create that. Usually you're working with really good scripts and really good people and companies. And so that's fun, bringing it to life. Anything that I can be a part of that makes other people have fun and enjoy what they're doing and get their mind off of, you know, all the crazy stuff going on in the world anyway right now, and just have fun, then that's what it's all about. You know, approach everything as if you're trying to have fun, and you'll find a way to make it that way.
And as a fan, Thank you. The camera is yours, Terrence. Send a hi to Colombia, to the channel, to wherever you want. Tell your social media so people can follow you. If there is a project that you want the people to be like, oh, what's coming up, go ahead. The camera is yours.
Well, of course, watch for more Hearthstone. There's more of that coming out. I think all the Warcraft stuff is pretty much out now, but keep watching just in case. Dynasty Legends will be coming out. We're waiting to see, and if they open it up to the fans to have input on saying who should do the roles for the English dub, should it be the voices that have always done it, or do we want to recast new people? Go in there and vote. All the old guys, all the originals, have us come back. Other than that, if you want to find out more about me, my website is IamTerrenceStone.com, and that's TERRENCE, of course, not that English A thing. No, Irish or Scottish, either one. You never know. Other than that, I'm now going to be able to start doing more conventions because I'm not going to be directing anything for a while on purpose. So I will always promote stuff ahead of time. So if I'm going to be anywhere where you are in your country, in a town near you, come see me. I'll be glad to see you. Thank you all, my fans all over, and for everything and your loyalty and for enjoying the things that I've been allowed to help create. Love you all.
Jhon, la foto o el saludo.
And thank you both.
Okay. First, we're going to take a picture so we can share to the social media. So I get my little
you want me to
cloud
leave
here.
My hat on, or do you want me to take my hat off?
We want the Ireland, and in fact, we are happy because we got the loot to.
You need me to get closer?
No. In fact, we got the loot to interview people from Ireland. We really love that country here, so let's show some love.
We like to have fun.
One, two, and yes. Save it the moment, please.
And as a final, man, if you wish, of course, with the permission, if you wanna send us a hi with the voice of any character or a salute or bye-bye, go ahead, choose a character and do it. Tell us first the character, of course.
Okay. Of course, it would be Mayuri, because he's wonderfully evil. And
I just want to tell you, if there's a time we can meet, I would love to, because maybe I would capture you and experiment on you later. Yes.
Jhon, I'm speechless. Jhon sin palabras.
Oh.
¡Bravo!
No, Tergen, la verdad estamos muy agradecidos. La verdad te agradecemos por la oportunidad, por el espacio, por el tiempo y no, mucho éxito. Y la verdad, volvemos a repetir todos tus clásicos.
Yes, man. In fact, Jhon is right. We are going to repeat all your classics, and I hope I can find some old PS2 or Wii, and I will replay the games, man. No, man. Thank you so much. Thank you.
If you look up my IMDb Pro or my website, a lot of that stuff is listed. I don't even remember, but you can see it listed there, and you go, "Oh, he worked on that? Naruto? What? He worked on this? What? Halo? All that kind of stuff."
Jhon, que visitemos la página, que en la página hay más créditos que el de IMDb y nos vamos a sorprender.
Wow.
Entonces, no, Jhon, gracias.
No, thank you, Tergen, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Tergen.
Gracias.
Thanks for having me, y'all, and it's glad to be here. I am. See you later.
Adios. Ciao. Adios.
Ciao. Bye.